Alright, hello, welcome to episode 20 of Hunter x Hunter. The tournament has already begun, Gon has already won, although I'm sure not in the circumstances he would like. Gon has had a lot of hits to his pride recently, between the situation with Hisoka in Phase 4 and now again being gifted a victory. Pretty much. I mean, I don't think he was gifted a victory, I think Gon did deserve to win there, you know? Ultimately, the tactic he used to win was legitimate because the goal was to make your opponent give up, not to beat them in a fight, right? The goal wasn't, it was never said that the goal was to beat your opponent to a bloody pulp. The goal was to make your opponent give up. And he did that, you know? It might not have been in the way the traditional shonen protagonist wins, but he did still win. He won fair and square within the rules of the tournament. So I think that was a legitimate victory because he used actual tactics of like mind games pretty much to win. But having said that, I can also understand that he is a bit prideful. He's a bit he wants to feel strong. He wants to win. And even though he did win using legitimate means, it's clearly not the way he wanted to win. He wanted to win the fight. He didn't want to be gifted a victory because his opponent was unwilling to beat him up more. I mean, imagine winning because your opponent beats you up so badly that they don't want to beat you up anymore and they give up. Like, yes, you are winning, but no one wants to win like that. You know, like, that's embarrassing. It's just a terrible thing to happen, right? Like, no one wants that, right? So, while I would argue that Gon legitimately did win and deserved to win, I would also say that I completely understand why he does not want to win that way, right? I do think his victory was legitimate because he did. It's not like his opponent beating the crap out of him and I was like, I feel bad about this, I give up. Like, it wasn't his decision. Gon, like, played mind games with him, you know? Intentionally, I don't know, but he did, you know? He was stood there, you'll have to kill me, I'll have to chop my legs off. Like, he played that game and played to the point where his opponent chose to give up. So I do think Gon's victory was legitimate. But, again, not how he wanted it to happen. But yeah, I want to just start the episode and see what's going on next. I like the fact that there have been so few fights so far in the show. There have been very few fights, and I really like that. Like the moment where Hisoka confronts Kurapika and Leorio in the forest, and instead of fighting, they just make a deal and go their separate ways. Like, I could see a situation in which a lot of, like, generic anime fans would get annoyed by that because, I wanted to see a fight. But it's cool to see that subversion of expectations. I like that, I enjoy that. And it builds up even more hype when you actually do get a proper fight eventually because there's been so much waiting for like a proper fight. But yeah, let's not waste any more time, let's just get straight into it. Okay, what an episode that was. My lord, I think that might be my favourite episode yet in the show. Okay, I was pretty confident that I'd predicted the outcome correctly. I was pretty confident in that. Okay, here's the thing. In a way, I was wrong. But in a way, I was right. In like one, like the tree of my thoughts. Like if you imagine my theory of how the tournament was going to play out as a tree, that tree was incorrect. But one branch of that tree actually did have a little nugget of truth on it. That Hisoka was losing on purpose. But it wasn't so that he could face Killua. It was so that Illumi, is that his name? Illumi? I think it's Illumi's. It was so that Illumi could face him. That's very interesting. So, it kind of went along with what I was thinking was going to happen, but gave me a twist in a way that I was never expecting. I did not expect that at all. That really surprised me. So Illumi is Killua's brother then, eh? And that explains why he needs to have all those. So the pins were designed to, like, keep his face hidden. When he threw the pins into that guy, it didn't kill him. That's important, because if he did kill him, he would have been disqualified, right? So that guy survived. He didn't die, he survived. So it seems as though those pins have the power to, like, change someone's face. Because when he threw the pins into that guy, his face started morphing and going into all kinds of weird shapes and stuff, and it looked like he was in a lot of pain. And we know that he didn't die because Illumi didn't get disqualified. So he didn't die, but yeah. Damn, what a tournament arc. That wasn't your traditional tournament arc, but I really like it. I could see people complaining, oh, I'm annoyed that we didn't get to see the tournament. But you know what? Like, lots of anime have tournament arcs. I'm alright with this one taking a completely different approach. I'm alright with that. So, and then, yeah, that talk. Like, I don't even know where to begin in regards to that talk. Like, everything else in the episode is fine, but that was definitely the highlight. Gon, I was talking about earlier about how Gon, he won the fight, but he only won because Hanzo let him win, pretty much. Like, he won him over, as they say. But he can't retake the test, so, like, just that fact that he's only a hunter because Hanzo let him win, basically, that's always going to hang over him now. There's no going back on that. He can't just give up and try again. Like, that's it. He is forever trapped knowing that. Which, oof. Like, I can't see how Gon... And, like, I can't say how Gon will handle that, but I know if I was in that situation, that would annoy me so much. Because I am an extremely prideful person myself. I'm the kind of person where, like, I'll want to quit fizzy drinks, for example. Like, I'll want to quit fizzy drinks, but then as soon as someone else tells me, hey, you should probably quit fizzy drinks, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, go away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone tells me to do something, I don't want to do it. Like, and I recognize that's a flaw in myself. I recognize that, but it's how I am. And I'm a very prideful person. And I imagine if I was in that situation, I would be so angry that I had succeeded, but only because someone had let me succeed. And I never, ever have the chance to run that back and correct that and actually earn my position, right? Like, I would be so angry over that. And to Gon's credit, he doesn't seem that annoyed. At the moment, anyway. Maybe it'll come back later where he'll have a moment where he, like, regrets how it played out. And maybe he won't. Maybe I'm completely off the mark with this and he's totally fine with winning the way he did. You know, that's entirely possible. But I'm just saying, like, I know I would be pissed off if that's how it went down. And I can only imagine Gon at least is somewhat disappointed in that regard, right? I could be wrong, but that's just how I'm imagining it. But yeah... So, yeah, wait a minute, though. Wait a minute, but actually, now that I think about it, why did Hisoka give up in the first round? Now that I think about it. Because my theory was that the reason he was giving up was so that he could face Killua in the final round. But now that I think about it, Killua and... Illumi were in the same half of the brackets. They were always going to fight regardless of what happened on the other side of the bracket. So what purpose would Hazuki? Fuck, I keep forgetting his name for some reason. What purpose would Clown Guy have for deliberately losing the first match? Was it because he wanted... Okay, maybe it's this. Maybe Hizuka? I can't... Okay, maybe it's because Clown Guy was predicting that Killua would kill... I forget his name, the martial arts dude. If that was part of the plan, to have Killua kill that guy... Maybe he's setting it up so that Kurapika and the Oreo would make it through because he sees the potential in them, right? To kill that guy off. But yeah, I think Killua might have just placed himself as my favourite character in the show so far, I think. That whole interaction with his brother was very interesting. It was very interesting. I like that a lot. I think it's very possible that pushed him up to my favourite character, I think. I don't even know where to begin in regards to that conversation, man. So it was his family was proud of him for the way he attacked them and ran away because it showed how much he'd grown and become powerful. But it's clear that Killua has still, I guess, a fear of his family in the sense that he still views them as... Because they're the people who trained him, they're the people who raised him, right? So he's always going to look up to them. It's like that thing in... It's like that thing that story thing that happens in Kuroko's Basketball. I've mentioned this show before. Again, I'm not going to go into detail to avoid spoilers, but there's a character in Kuroko's Basketball who is very good at becoming better. He's very good at learning and improving his skill. But there's one person who, despite this guy potentially having more potential than him, he can never actually overcome him because he looks up to him. And so long as he looks up to him, he can never surpass him, right? And this feels kind of a similar situation where Killua, even if he is hypothetically strong enough to kill his brother, which I don't think he is, I think most likely his brother is actually stronger, but let's say hypothetically he is strong enough to beat his brother. Despite that, he just has this mentality of they're my trainers, they're the people who raised me. He looks up to them, not necessarily in a way of respect, but more in a way of, these are the people who train me, you know? These are my betters. They taught me everything I know. How could I possibly stand up to them, right? He has that mentality of they are better than me, they are stronger than me, they are more skilled than me, they're more experienced than me. And he still is stuck with that mentality of them being better than him, regardless of if that's actually true or not, and regardless of how much he might dislike them. And that was some real... Because that was some real mind games played by Illumi there, where he was talking about how you can't have friends. Your only desire is to kill. The only reason you even care about Gon is because you're confused by him and wondering whether you can kill him and all this stuff, which is just further enforced by the last episode where Killua was all pouching like, I could have dodged that, and he was getting jealous of Gon and comparing himself to Gon. And that's just being further enforced right here, where he's like, the only reason you care about Gon is because you are wondering if you can kill him or not, and you're just being confused, right? You're not actually friends with him. And then just to further drive that point home, he's like, okay, well, if you care about Gon that much, well, I guess you're going to have to save him, because if you don't, I'm going to go and kill him. I mean, you can just give up and I'll become a hunter and I can go kill him. So it's like, either you fight me to stop me from killing Gon, or you accept the fact that you value yourself over Gon, and I'm going to go kill him. And that's exactly what happened, right? Killua gave up. He was too afraid to fight his brother, and he was so afraid of fighting his brother that he was willing to allow Illumi to get the Hunter's Pass, which would let him legally kill Gon. So that, even though, of course, it's a very complicated situation, right? It's a very complicated situation. There's lots of different aspects going into this. But if we simplify it as much as possible so it's nice and easy and digestible, the simplified version of it is that Illumi convinced Killua that he isn't friends with Gon, and that he still values himself and his desire to kill over everything else. And then he proved that to Killua by forcing Killua to give up, by ordering him essentially to give up and allowing him to kill Gon. And even though that was just a deception, now Killua has that idea in his mind of, I was going to let him kill Gon, right? And that's reinforced by the words that Illumi said, where he's like, well, you don't actually like Gon. You're not friends with him. You know, you're just still a killer, right? And now those words are going to be ringing true in Killua's mind, because now he thinks that the reason he gave up is because he doesn't actually care about Gon. And so, what's going to be more important than anything in these next episodes is for Gon to reinforce his friendship with Killua. That is the most important thing right now, more important than anything else. It doesn't matter that they're hunters. None of that shit matters. Forget about that. What matters now more than anything else is the friendship between Gon and Killua, and that Gon does his absolute best to help Killua out of this position he's in. Right? So Killua did lose the exam like I was predicting he would, but the circumstances were so much different. There's no way I could have ever predicted something like this would happen. And for the record, what happened is way better than what I was predicting would happen. Like, I am very happy that I was wrong. I'm very happy that I was wrong in my prediction, because what I was predicting was going to happen is nowhere near as cool as what actually happened, so I'm very happy about that. Although we didn't get the Kurapika and Leorio fight, which is a little sad, but yeah. Yeah, and so... I'm sad that the martial arts guy lost. I mean, not lost, died. I'm sad that he died. And that makes me think. It was said that the reason that Hisoka wants to become a hunter is because hunters can usually kill people without being punished, right? Now, if he had killed someone in this tournament, he would have been disqualified, but would there have been other consequences? Killua murdered that dude right now, right? He's disqualified from the tournament, but will there be any other consequences? I mean, he did just kill a dude, but having said that, he's also killed other people. Other people have died this tournament, right? And as far as we're aware, their killers haven't been arrested or anything like that, so if they're allowed to kill people without consequences, is that just because they're in the test? Like, are there special rules where you're allowed to murder people for this exam? I suppose that has to be the case, right? Otherwise, half the people will probably be in fucking jail right now. Yeah, that has to be the case. I'm really liking Illumi's design. I really like his design. It's super cool looking with the long hair and the weird lifeless eyes. It really reinforces that his personality complements his design so much. Because he's got this super pale skin and these extremely lifeless, hypnotic eyes. And he looks like a doll. He looks and moves like a doll. And the way he thinks, it's so emotionless and logical. Like, he doesn't care about human life or anything. It's a purely logical way of thinking. Oh, I could kill you. Oh, but if I kill you, I'll get eliminated from the exam. Well, oh, I know. What if I become a hunter and then I can murder everyone here, right? That's a good idea. Like, he's not thinking like a normal person would think. He is just 100% logical. What is the most efficient path to my success? That's all he cares about. No emotion, nothing. He just wants to win. He wants, well, not even win, he just wants to succeed in his goal. And he just cares about what the most efficient way to do that is. And I like that. There's something very interesting about that. I want to see more of him. I'm very interested in his character. His character is very entertaining. And I don't know what to do now, because I want to watch more episodes, but I don't know how much time I have. And if the coming episodes are like a whole, if like this next section is like a whole 4 or 5 episodes long, because we're only on episode 20, 21 something, like this section I'm going into now could last for 3 or 4 episodes. And so if I go on to the next episode now, that could just make my situation even worse. If I go into the beginning of the next arc. Oh man. Okay, I've thought about it. I've sat here and mulled over it in my head. I've decided I've got a little bit of time left. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to watch one more episode. So, man, that might have been my favorite episode so far. But yeah, I feel like at the moment, Killua's story arc is definitely the one I'm going to be most invested in, it seems. Definitely. That definitely seems like it's going to be the case. That Killua is the character that I'm going to be most invested in seeing develop and grow, because I'm very interested in where he is now, and his character arc is going to involve, shaking off his family and the influence they've had and becoming more human, and his friendship with Gon is going to be key to all of that, right? It's going to be him becoming friends with Gon is going to be key to everything he is as a person, right? Because if you throw in the concept of you can't be friends with Gon because you're a murderer, you're a killer, you're an assassin, you can't have friends, then it's only natural, right, that their connection to each other is going to be what's so key to them, to him developing and growing to become a better person. And I think this episode solidifies in my mind that Killua is not going to be a villain, right? Because I have seen, because I have been watching some other reaction videos in my spare time just out of interest to see what other people think, and I have seen some people speculate that Killua was going to become a villain. I don't see that. I don't see that happening, personally. Not now, anyway. After this episode really cements in my mind that Killua is not going to be a villain. He might become villainous for a while. There might be a story arc in which he is a bit of a villainous person, but I feel like there are 2 ways it could happen. Way one is that he starts out a hero and then he becomes a villain and he stays a villain until his death or the end of the show or whatever, and it's a very tragic story. I think that's not going to happen. I think at most he will be on the enemy's side for a brief amount of time before Gon brings him back. I'm not even sure that that's going to happen, but if there is a situation in which Killua becomes villainous, I think that is the furthest it could possibly go, where he becomes a villainous entity temporarily for maybe a story arc or something before being brought back. So, yeah. If you liked the video, please give it a like. This might be my favourite episode so far. I really enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want to be notified when I release new videos. And share the video if you want to help expand my channel and bring new eyes onto me. And I'm feeling tired after that episode, man. That was like mentally tiring with how intense it was. Oh, but yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.